Now, Duke won today, a high-scoring affair against Wake. Louisville won today, a high-scoring affair against Virginia Tech. So Carolina's 10-3. Duke and Louisville both 10-4. Notre Dame 10-5 atop the ACC. Florida State lost at Pitt today, a costly loss, knocked them down a couple of pegs in the ACC standings.
A great switch there by Theo Pinson off the screen, rescreen action by Virginia. May not score all the time, but they're difficult to play against because they're so disciplined.
And off the inbounds, Wilkins from Parentis, and Virginia's lead up to 3.
One of the great things that Virginia does on offense is their guys set really good screens, and then they look to score after they set a screen. Most often, the screener is the one that's going to be open after screening action. And if you're looking for that screener and the screener plays screener, scorer, basketball, you can get some really good things.
I think you may have just tied an NCAA record for saying the word screener the most times in one sentence.
Well, I can say screener again if you'd like to hear me say screener.
Stolen away by Joel Berry. Jackson the kick back to Berry. The drive doesn't get it to go, and Diakite rips down the rebound. Almost an errant pass, and Shayok will get it back. And they almost turn.
Can really shoot the ball. He's got a great feel to his offensive game.
This is Jerome. Diakite driving on Bradley. Bounce pass off the leg. These two programs last met in the ACC championship game a year ago when Washington won by the Tar Heels. 61-57. Virginia has won the last 3 regular season meetings between these two. But, of course, there's been a lot of turnover on both schools.
Tony Bradley with the offensive rebound. That young man, just a freshman, he gets so many second chance opportunities for this North Carolina team.
Hicks with a long jumper. And Jerome down with a rebound.
North Carolina, unless they knock these shots down, it is so difficult to play against Virginia. It is no fun. I mean, Maria Taylor mentioned it. You can't get frustrated because you're not going to get shots in your normal rhythm. It's like going to the dentist's office for 40 minutes.
And Roy Williams said he always wants them to play fast. He says he doesn't mind a fast shot tonight as long as it's a good shot. He doesn't want them to play 30 seconds of D, take a quick bad shot, then have to come back down and play 30 more seconds of D. Another Virginia turnover, their 3rd. Jackson trying to go the distance, and he draws the
game plan.
North Carolina. And he has set the record early in this game.
I didn't know they kept record of saying
mid-90s.
screener.
It's on KenPom.
You've got me feeling self-conscious now.
Kyle Guy into the game, another part of the Virginia freshman class, and a very good shooter. So 3 freshmen in the game right now for the Cavs.
Kyle Guy with some length on him, guarded by Justin Jackson. A good defensive possession for North Carolina.
And deep into the shot clock again. Jerome's got to force up a 30-footer. And the long rebound down to the Tar Heels. Luke May has checked in for Carolina. Jackson, his second 3 of the night. What a year he's having. From a 29% three-point shooter a year ago to a 39% three-point shooter this year.
And Dan, when North Carolina has a great defensive possession, isn't it interesting how much better their offense flows? That was a great defensive possession they just had. Now they've made it 2 in a row.
Parentis with an air ball on a 3. Their team be part of the 94 feet. The managers were in there as well because the culture, the theme of the entire team is unity. So I think that's great that they had everybody walking the court with you.
Well, very cool. Of course, he's a California kid, which means he's automatically cool.
That's true.
Went to Crespi High School in L.A. He was described when he first got to Virginia. Tony Bennett used to say, well, he's got that California cool in him. But I think he's a Charlottesville guy now.
Nate Britt banks one home, and the Carolina lead is up to 3. Both of these teams are deep. They'll go 10 deep as Bradley forces Virginia's 4th turnover of the game already.
Early in the season, North Carolina was so good defensively. They've still been trying to find that vibe that they had in November on the defensive end. How about that offensive rebound by Tony Bradley?
Great work by Bradley. Tar Heels get, what, 42-43% of their misses.
Step-in threes. Dave. Virginia has had as tough a week as any team in the ACC or any team in the country, really. On the road at Virginia Tech. They've got Duke on Wednesday in Charlottesville and going on the road to North Carolina on Saturday. I mean, that is a gauntlet that very few teams in this league have had in a 6-day period.
Reuter kicks it out to Isaiah Wilkins, Isaiah Wilkins, who knocks down the jumper. The stepson of Dominique Wilkins brings Virginia back within a couple.
So Isaiah Wilkins had a good year. Leads Virginia in rebounding, offensive rebounding, steals, blocks. He does a lot for this team.
May open on the wing. He can knock it down. Luke May, who's been an important piece for Carolina. There have been some injuries this year. He's had to step into a larger role at times, and he's now 9 for 22 from three-point range on the season.
North Carolina just has more weapons this year than I think they had last year. Now, they've lost Marcus Page, Bryce Johnson. Those are huge losses, but it seems like they can score from more positions this year than they could last year.
By the way, Page and Johnson both here tonight having their jerseys put up in the wrapper honored. It's a number of other qualifications, first or second team All-American, Final Four MVP, and so forth. So, and as a sophomore, Page was an All-American. Johnson was an All-American, I believe, as a senior. So both of them will have a ceremony and have their jerseys, or already have had their jerseys, hoisted up to the rafters with the Dean. They're running out of room here.
Well, for me to get my jersey in the rafters, all they have to do is leave a door open.
And a ladder.
A big ladder.
Pinson splits the defense, gets by a third defender, and lays it in.
Well, how much better is North Carolina with Theo Pinson healthy and able to play? They lost him for a good part of this season, but he gives this team a different vibe, doesn't he? A different energy.
Yeah. Kenny Williams, who got a shot of him on crutches on the bench after that basket. Now with a knee injury suffered in practice Tuesday, he'll have surgery and is not going to be back this season, as Shayok quiets the crowd with a baseline jumper. Pinson probably would have been the starter at the beginning of the year had he not been hurt. So they lose Williams. Pinson is back healthy, and they still have some depth. May, tough turnaround. Wow, line drive, jump hook will go.
Set the screen, then he was open. Pinson hit him. And a good rotation by Virginia, but boy, Luke May showed a lot of poise there. Was looking for a teammate, saw he had an opening. That was a heck of a shot.
All behind the back. Jackson stays with him.
Now, Jackson has proven to be a good defender. This is really solid defense played by North Carolina thus far.
Wilkins, and Meeks got a piece of it.
Well, Meeks was wide open.
Jackson baseline, kicks it out. Seven the Woods, right back to Jackson. Got it.
Scored over 90 points today. That's a team that's also playing offense at a much higher level than it did earlier in the season.
Hall, the three won't go. Yeah, Louisville beat Virginia Tech 94-90 today. Donovan Mitchell, who's playing great at 26. Duke beat Wake Forest 99-94. Luke Kennard had 23.
Yeah, Florida State's fallen out of there with their loss at Pittsburgh today.
And it shakes up the ACC standings as well. Jackson a little bit short, now 3 for 5 from three-point range.
7 minutes to go, Dan, in the first half. And Virginia has garnered only 1 foul on North Carolina. That's an issue for Virginia. It's not a team with the way they play and the players that they've got that is able to draw a lot of fouls on their opponents. Therefore, they don't shoot a bunch of free throws in their high-level games.
Jerome gets his man in the air, steps in, and is way long on the jumper. Well, they've had some decent looks that they've missed pretty badly tonight so far as well.
Well, North Carolina's gotten them to speed up a little bit on the offensive end. North Carolina's defense has been very good. And this is the kind of defense that the Tar Heels need to play.
Meeks with the force, and down with the rebound, Hall.
They tried to turn right through that double team and take it on as quickly as possible. But he needs to just get lower, and if he wants to split it, get into the lane and score.
Jack Salt's back in the game for Virginia. He's got 2 fouls, picked those up in the first 4 minutes. Parenta's a quiet first half. The unquestioned leader of Virginia finds Salt, and it won't go down. And if it's Salt here, and it is, it's...
This is a really small Virginia lineup.
Devin Hall's given up a ton of size in the matchup against Hicks, and Hicks wants to take advantage down to the post.
And they need to get it inside.
The double team. Hicks dribbles out of it.
Kennedy Meeks should have been up higher there so he could dive.
Nice seal there by Wilkins to keep Meeks away from the glass.
If you play sort of in a high-low look, Kennedy Meeks and Isaiah Hicks, when the ball goes into the post and the double comes, then the opposite postman can dive to the bucket.
Parentes, no. Virginia ice cold so far here in this game.
And this has been without North Carolina scoring really any points in the paint.
Jackson does and is headed. You look at the Carolina team, and Bryce Johnson, Marcus Page are here tonight from a team that went all the way to the national championship game last year. They lost two really good college players. The freshman class has helped, but you look at some of the other guys, the more experienced guys, and Justin Jackson's the best example. A lot of the guys they've had have just gotten better,
gotten a lot better. I mean, Justin Jackson's made 73 threes on the season.
Whoa. We saw that early when we saw them out in Maui. There's a foul that will send Thompson.
Stretcher came out to get him. Tom Izzo lost his entire front court before the first ball was dribbled in Hawaii this year against Arizona. Lost Ben Carter and Gavin Schilling, and that has really negatively affected. Great slip.
Wow. And what a finish by Hicks on the feed from Jackson.
Isaiah Hicks going to set the side pick and roll. Saw that his defender was on top of him and just slipped it right to the rim. That was beautiful basketball.
Thompson baseline with the response.
But for North Carolina to hold this Virginia team to 15 points to this point, I know Virginia's missed a couple open shots, but the defense from Carolina has been excellent.
Meeks with a touch deep, but he trapped string injury that he suffered during practice on a vicious dunk in practice, and then came back in their last game, but only played 7 minutes because of foul trouble. Still nursing that hamstring injury just a bit, but he looked pretty good right there.
Well, that dunk he hurt himself on in practice, great steal by Theo Pinson, was one of the best dunks I've seen all year, maybe the best.
About a halftime, coach.
Kansas is the best finishing team in college basketball. Frank Mason, to me, is the player of the year. He's been absolutely spectacular each and every night.
Kansas with a big win at Baylor today. More on that coming up on the Alfa Romeo halftime report. Kudos to Coach Greenberg for playing hurt here this weekend.
It sounds like he's been gargling with gravel.
Whip, by the way, as you guys talked about this morning, the 100th edition of College Game Day started back in 2005. In Storrs, Connecticut at Gamble Pavilion. North Carolina has been on College Game Day 16 of the 100 weeks. Not here, 11 on the road, 5 here, but they've been featured in the game 16 of the 100 times. That's the most of any program in the country.
Now, I've been on every College Game Day show, all 100, yet I was only credited with 98. Apparently, I had 2 vacated.
Justin Jackson just making a mockery of the three-point line so far here tonight.
How good has he been? That's 74 threes for him on the season, averaging 20 points per game in ACC play. He's been absolutely fantastic all season long.
Thompson gets to the glass, but Bradley got a piece of it. Now Carolina pushing. Barry, yes! Vintage Carolina fast break.
And you don't see Virginia giving up layups very often. That's turning defense into offense.
Guy open in the corner. They're just not falling tonight so far for the Cavs.
That one was under duress. Good recovery by Justin Jackson to get a hand up.
They're 0 for 6 from three-point range. Bradley. And the rebound down to Hall. 2 minutes to go in the half. Virginia's got 18 points.
North Carolina's only got 4 fouls, so Virginia's going to go through the first half without putting North Carolina in the bonus.
Guy gets a better look, still won't go. They're 0 for 7 from beyond the arc.
Oh, he was wide open there. Set a screen, got a screen. There called the first foul, and what did Tony Bradley do? He didn't do anything. It's a cop-out.
Diakite back into the game now for Virginia. Barry and Parentes, 2 outstanding college point guards.
Run America's play. If they run that again, they'll get the slip.
Good recovery there by Parentes, and he'll contact with Bradley.
Yeah, once the ball's gone, the officials tend to call that incidental. It's always incidental when it's somebody else getting knocked down.
Tipped. Thompson and Jackson in a foot race, and Jackson comes up with it.
A great play by Justin. That saved the bucket because Thompson's an outstanding athlete.
Jackson with a drive. Left-hand finish. Yes! 18 in the first half for Justin Jackson, matching Virginia's total.
And that was just a fabulous decision to drive the closeout. And a great finish with the left hand.
Parentis takes a bump. Won't stay down. He'll shoot a couple.
Then the baseline. But that's like that.
Parentis knocks down the first. Back here in Chapel Hill Wednesday night. Really excited for Louisville and Carolina. You want to talk about two terrific teams. Louisville, another win today. Boy, are they tough right now. Getting Snyder back. How good are the Cardinals right now?
Well, great defense. And we always said, hey, you know, they struggle to score. They're not struggling to score right now. Their offense has really improved.
Diakite with about a 7.5-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Terrific defensive performance by the Tar Heels here in the first half. Barry lost it. Meeks had it. And it will belong to Virginia.
You can get a score right here. You know, to go down 11 or 12 into halftime wouldn't be bad at all.
Throw here gets it down to 12. Chance for a final look for the Heels. And the first half will come to a second half. Jack Salt will start the second half. Barely played in the first half. Picked up 3 fouls.
And North Carolina's doing a good job of sticking with cutters. Boy, Parentis did a really nice job of jumping back in.
He's 4th on Virginia's all-time assist list, and he's been a part of 103 wins in a Virginia uniform. The program record is 110, held by Malcolm Brogdon, one of the many great players who's come through the program in recent years. And Brogdon now having a lot of success at the next level with the Bucks.
He's also going to have his jersey retired in Charlottesville on Monday.
Nice move by Kennedy Meeks.
Instead of getting the post-to-post double, Kennedy Meeks able to turn baseline, just get to the other side of the rim. Now, Kennedy Meeks coming into this game has 922 career rebounds. You know, if North Carolina does a good job in postseason, Kennedy Meeks can finish his college career with 1,000 rebounds.
That's rare air.
It's a remarkable career.
Shayok guarded by Pinson. And the long jumper in and out, the rebound to Hicks.
And that was a forced shot without a lot of offense run and without making the North Carolina defense move very much. There's a lot of pressure on North Carolina right now. They're able to look inside.
Meeks muscles it up and in, and Wilkins, incredulous that there was no call on Meeks, felt he was shoved down to the court.
Well, you could see that coming, just to look inside, because Carolina able to catch the ball, and without a lot of pressure, they're looking to pick Virginia apart. And in the first half, it was difficult for Carolina to get the ball inside without a double coming and get disrupted.
Nice two-man game. Shayok and Wilkins, but a rejection by Meeks, doing it at both ends of the floor. Pinson counted and a foul.
Left arm. He thought it was on the offensive player, and he was right. But
15-point lead, North Carolina. Again, Virginia, a very deliberate team. When they have lost this year, it's generally been because they played poorly in the second half. They've blown a lot of leads, but if they're going to win this one, they're going to have to play great this half and launch a big comeback.
I think at times Virginia, they play so hard on defense, they tend to get worn down a little bit in the second half, and North Carolina's just got more players.
Shayok, no, and Meeks with a rebound, turned it over, though, to Wilkins, and then blocked him again. Barry behind the back, off the glass, everything but the finish for Joel Barry II. Hall, a rare transition opportunity. They come up and they have lost 2 in a row, as we mentioned. losing to Duke on Wednesday, losing at Virginia Tech in double overtime last week, and they haven't lost 3 in a row, Jay, since 2011.
Joe Barry unable to find it. Setting a record for saying screener.
Salt playing with 3, setting the high screen on Barry. Parentis swings it to Shayok. Pull up from the elbow, not there. And another rebound for Meeks, who's been everywhere here in the second half.
All jump shots for Virginia, a lot of them tough ones.
Quick one for Jackson, won't go. Parentis, long look ahead, Shayok, and the finish.
Now, that was not the best shot taken by Justin Jackson. And I know he's had the hot hand, but one of the ways to get hot is by taking good shots. He had 3 guys on him, and that was deep on top of deep.
North Carolina still will host Louisville. We mentioned that Wednesday night, 9 Eastern here on ESPN. They're still going to go to Charlottesville and play Virginia. They're still going to host Duke. So a very difficult closing schedule for the Tar Heels.
You see it up there and kind of feel the fans give you that love. Oh, man, it's a great feeling.
How does it compare to seeing it, remembering those moments when you came in as a recruit, and now your jersey's with those guys, Bryce?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's surreal. I mean, that's the one thing you always go for when you come here. You always want to be remembered somehow, and that's the one way we wanted to do it.
Both of you guys have started your professional career. How has what you learned here at Chapel Hill kind of translated?
Whether it's on the court or off the court, I mean, he's been like a father figure.
In person twice. What are your thoughts about the team?
Oh, they're good, man. I can't put into words. I watch every game that I can. So, I mean, they're just picking up where we left off last year. I mean, they feel like we got robbed at the end of the year, so they're going out there proving a point. So they got to go out there and just play well.
Got anything to add, Marcus?
What's up?
Got anything to add?
Yeah, Justin Jackson is an All-American, surefire All-American. It's great to see him play at that level, so I'm proud of a lot of these guys.
All right, Justin's got his first All-American vote. And there you go, Bryce Johnson and Marcus Page, guys.
All right, Maria, thank you. Well, they got all the way to the national championship game, but of course beaten by Villanova on the last second shot by Chris Jenkins, and they certainly have the talent to get back, to get that deep into the tournament again if things go well for them.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, Dan. This is a national championship caliber team. It's a little bit different, though. They don't have quite the rim protection they did when Bryce Johnson was in there blocking shots with his athleticism, and they're lacking the defensive presence that Marcus Page had. Remember, Marcus Page was the type of guy, they could put him on Malcolm Brogdon, and he actually did a great job on Brogdon in the ACC tournament.
Pinson off to Meeks.
Secondary break will get to you. They keep running it and running it. There are a lot of different options. And the threat of Carolina's primary break is the biggest deal, but their secondary break just relentless.
Darius Thompson can't knock down the 3. Carolina, the leaders of the ACC right now at 10-3, need a win tonight to stay a game ahead of Duke and Louisville, both who won earlier today. And again, Louisville is here Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, here on ESPN.
Louisville's improvement in offense means I think that's a team that can get to an Elite 8. And if you can get to Elite 8, you can certainly win that game. But I don't know if they're national championship good, but they're Elite 8 good.
Parentis. Second air ball of the night for London Parentis. And Virginia is 0 for 12 from three-point range.
There it is. That's the difference when you double team with a guy diving from the high post. You can see that North Carolina made that adjustment at halftime. And that was an easy bucket due to the high post dive.
Tony Bennett wants a timeout.
And they have played so much better, not only in the defensive end, but Andrew White leading the ACC in scoring in ACC games. John Gillen at 43 points at NC State. Ridiculous.
May swings it to Britt. Syracuse right now is 8-6 in the ACC. They're at Georgia Tech tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern on ESPNU. And Joe Lunardi at the moment has Syracuse as one of the last 4 in. Not a great non-conference strength of schedule. So Joe Lunardi's got them in, but perilously so right now. One of 9 ACC teams that he's got in the field right now.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities left for Syracuse, but in the non-conference, they didn't beat a major conference team.
Right.
And that's why I meant dead and buried. I mean, if you talk to Jim Boeheim, he was not an optimistic gentleman. And he's not an optimistic gentleman usually anyway.
Diakite and a foul. Clemson lost today. But being as close as the...
Look, I'm not one of those I think the ACC is having a terrific year. Better last year. It's more balanced this year. The bottom of the league has improved, but the top isn't any better. And there have been years past where the top was way better than it is this year, but balanced as far as top to bottom.
Still carrying some roses. And I trust he will be traveling with us to Tucson next week. Game day next week. UCLA at Arizona. And if it's anything like the first game between those two teams this year, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Jackson almost turned it over, got it back, had it blocked. Virginia ball.
And North Carolina's offense has not been nearly as good in the second half, but what's keeping them in this big lead has been defense. North Carolina's held Virginia to 2 of 12 in the second half.
Another missed three. They're 0 for 14 from beyond the arc.
Just mired in it.
They're a pretty good three-point shooting team. They shoot 39% as a team on the season from three-point range. May.
They didn't get that to go down, but Luke May had a really good first half. 5 points, 4 rebounds, only played 7 minutes. He's doing a lot of good things out there.
Shayok with a crossover on May. Can't get it to go.
But it's all jump shots. And it's off of one side of the floor. And Virginia, this is not a team that can get fouled.
Britt is open. Jackson with the finish. 20 for Jackson. First points here in the second half.
He moves so well without the ball. He got that rebound just because he's in constant motion on the offensive end. Good switch out by Joel Berry on the Kyle Guy. So jealous of his hair.
You and me both. Jerome with a drive. Off balance, and Bradley got all of that to the game for the Heels. Shot clock is at 4. Thompson. Offensive foul. Berry stepping in to take the in the second half in each of those games and lost them all.
Yeah, and they're giving up like over 60% in the second half in those games. Now, one of those games is on the road at Virginia.
He's won it.
And Tony Bennett said the other day, we were talking to Pryor at his practice, and he said, I couldn't help it. I was thinking about Bill Murray in Caddyshack, just hitting the plunger on that dynamite, knocking that ball in.
Pinson.
And I would have been happy in Charlottesville if that would have happened.
Oh, the boys with their toys in the truck having fun.
I thought that was great. What a pass.
And Wilkins missed the lay-in.
Yeah, that's the kind of night it's been for Virginia. But what a pass.
We've played 31 minutes in the game, and Virginia has 29 points. They have been ice cold. As Jay said, a lot of jump shots. They're not falling. Hall will try to create, kick it off to Parentis. Virginia in jeopardy of losing.
And I think their record, honestly, is a little bit better than their personnel. And I don't mean that to sound disrespectful. They're young. They're young in so many spots. They lost Austin Nichols early on in the season, who transferred in from Memphis. So they don't have an interior scorer that they expected to have. I think they've done a great job to be where they are.
But college basketball. So this is not to suggest they've lost more than anybody else. That's not the case. But to lose players the caliber of Malcolm Brogdon, Anthony Gill, Mike Tobey, who's playing in the NBA right now, another veteran in Evan Nolte. That is a lot for one program to weather in 1 year.
Yeah, and if they had Austin Nichols playing and playing well, a lot of the issues we're talking about would be alleviated. But they can't score inside, and they're having a difficult time getting fouled.
Berry with a 3, and the lead grows for Carolina.
Well, and a 20-point lead for this Virginia team is awfully difficult to come back from. I mean, 0 of 15 from three-point range. That's just not going to cut it. And they scored 55 points against Duke.
BYU.
All right, John, thank you. Well, Arizona having a great season. I mean, they got Trier back. They got healthy. Hicks. What a run out for Carolina. And you said it, kiddo. That's a great reaction to what we just saw.
Well, you just don't see Virginia give up transition that easily. This has been a tough week for Virginia. Caliber of team they have played, and played very well in their game against Virginia Tech. Not quite as well in the second half, but they struggled against Duke. And this is a rough third game in 6 days.
They're going to play Carolina again in 9 days, a week from Monday on the 27th.
Pass.
And Meeks with another finish. Did to them tonight here with the Dean Dome.
I can't recall a time where Virginia shot the ball this poorly. These defenses this good. So Virginia's contributed to it, but you got to give Carolina credit. Carolina's defense has been really solid.
They've missed their last 11. That streak will end on the layup by Mario Shea. Carolina with a win will go to 11-3 in ACC play. Another offensive rebound, but Hicks has it stripped. Louisville won today. Duke won today. They're both 10-4. Parentis 0 for 17 from beyond the arc.
It looked like Virginia was sending 4 guys back on that shot. Usually they send 3 back.
Pinson with an acrobatic finish. And one of the guys on his feet here and onto the bench, the injured Kenny Williams, out for the rest of the season with a knee injury. So Pinson back into the starting lineup, where he may have been at the beginning of the year anyway had he not been hurt.
Well, that really hurts having Kenny Williams out for the year. He's having a really good year. There's the first 3 of the game for Virginia.
The Dean Smith Center with Chapel Hill, Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Maria Taylor, the Game Day Gang, and what a performance by North Carolina, and an equally poor performance, to be perfectly frank, by Virginia. North Carolina has been really good. Virginia has not, and they have shot the ball poorly. They have missed a lot of open looks. As Pinson knocks down the 3. As London Parentis looks on for the bench with the margin here. No sense in having him play any more minutes with another game coming on Monday.
Well, Theo Pinson is starting to look more and more comfortable. Coming into this game, he had 27 assists and only 4 turnovers on the season.
Maria's got more.
Yeah, guys, when you talk about Theo Pinson, all of his teammates just kind of call him the energy and the spark plug. And you'll notice he'll do things like get an assist or the defensive rebound that starts the break. It's the little things. And Theo tells me that he's always out there to do whatever his team needs. If one game it's going to be all rebounding, he'll do it. If it's going to be scoring one game, he'll do it. But he'll never play outside of his game. And we've seen that here today.
Yeah, he's a really good player. And is fighting through the injury, especially when you're an older player. It's not easy. And maintaining that continuity. Another good dive from the high post.
And another easy putback for Kennedy Meeks.
And Maria Taylor mentioned with Theo Pinson energy. And when did, you know, terminology's changed, but like when I was younger, it was called playing hard, and then it became energy. Yeah. And when it was called a shot. Now it's called a look. Trying to get him a look.
So what you're saying is you're old.
I'm old, yeah. But it's funny how the terminology changes. Used to be face-up 4-man, a guy that could shoot. Now it's a stretch 4.
Stretch 4. Kennedy Meeks has 13 points and 7 rebounds in the second half.
Well, nobody can keep.
Really disastrous for North Carolina State, and now the coaching search begins anew.
Yeah, North Carolina State beaten by 51 here at North Carolina. And look, we all serve at the pledge of our superiors. If NC State wants to fire Mark Gottfried, I mean, they can. They certainly showed they can because they did. But I don't get why you do it now. Like, why not wait till the end of the season? I know there were reports that they've been reaching out, and of course they'll deny that. But
Shayok a 3. Been a lot of talk about Archie Miller. You think there's any chance of that?
I do not. He's got a better job right now at Dayton.
What makes the NC State job tough at the current moment?
Because the league is really tough. It is. I mean, you can play pretty well in this league and finish 9th.
Yeah.
And I think it is brutal to expect to finish in the top 6 of this league.
And when you got North Carolina and Duke just down the road. Guy off to Reuter.
I mean, really, when was the last time, and this is not a shot at North Carolina State, when was the last time North Carolina State was really good? And it's been a long time. And so
Stillman White into the game for the first time now for North Carolina. Well, Virginia's going to have to regroup. They've got another game in 48 hours. You can see it on a big Monday. They'll take on Miami. This will be the third loss in a row. A dejected London Parentis looking on. The third loss in a row for Virginia. First time since 2011 that they will lose 3 in a row, and they will drop to 8-6 in ACC play.
And you have to shake this one off. And this one obviously got away. North Carolina played really well, and Virginia did not play well at all. But there's a long bus ride home for Virginia after this one. They got to turn around and play Miami on Monday. That is a tough turnaround, because it is not an easy bus trip after you win, let alone after you get it handed to you.
We're told in an interview with Justin Jackson, who certainly in the first half of this game especially was the absolute star of the proceedings here in Chapel Hill. In Jackson's first half, Meeks' second half, 2 huge performances for Carolina tonight.
Good pass.
And a block.
Kareem Rush played at Missouri. Pretty darn. They got every blue blood program covered. My goodness. And Shea here in North Carolina, that's big time.
Big doubleheader Wednesday. Duke at Syracuse at 7. Louisville right here in North Carolina at 9. You can see them both here on ESPN. Last time Virginia lost by this much of a margin was back in 2013. To have been around a while. This does not happen. This has not happened in recent years to this Virginia team.
Well, they compete. We had a shot earlier of London Parentis with his head down because he cares. He absolutely cares.
Tough night for Virginia. You can see him again Monday against Miami. A very strong night for North Carolina. They'll go to 11-3 in conference play and stay a game ahead of both Louisville